What y'all doing? Tonight's menu consists of deer loin with a mushroom gravy, wild rice, and carrots. So let's get started. I believe in seasonings, but with this, less is better. Pat it dry. We're gonna cover it with some kosher salt, some cracked pepper, and then just a dash of the adobo all-purpose seasoning. Not much. You're gonna do this on the other side. Just set it aside for a while. Next, we're gonna make us some wild rice. I'm using this royal blend of wild rice mixtures. That way I don't have to mix my own up. We're gonna put 2 cups in a pot. You can cut it down to 1 cup if you'd like. As far as seasonings, we're gonna add some parsley flakes. We season with our hard brown here, so they ain't no measuring. Some dried onion flakes, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, some kosher salt. When it comes to the liquid that you add to your rice, you always double the amount of liquid for the amount of rice. So for our 2 cups, we're gonna have 4 cups of liquid. We're using 4 cups chicken broth. And then I'm throwing in 4 tablespoons of butter. We're gonna go throw this on the stovetop and we're gonna bring it to a boil. Now we're gonna get our mushroom gravy going. In this pan, I'm gonna throw about 4 tablespoons of butter. I may add more if I feel like it needs it. We're gonna melt it down. I'm gonna use a cast iron pan to cook my loin in, so we're gonna go ahead and throw it on the stovetop too. In my cast iron pan, I'm gonna throw a small amount of lard, and then we're gonna put this on the stovetop and get it nice and hot. Now grab you 1 more pan. This is for our carrots. We're gonna throw us in a chunk of butter. We're gonna let it melt down and start kind of browning. Now when it comes to the carrots, I just use canned carrots. These are some that I've canned last year. They're a pint-sized jar, so they're about the same as what a can in the store would be. Once our butter gets that nice brown look to it, then we're gonna dump in our carrots. I like to season them with this Cavender's Greek seasoning. You wanna use a lot. You like a lot of seasoning. We like a lot of flavor. Now Cavender's is pretty salty, so I'm just gonna add a dash of regular salt. Toss it and get the carrots coated, and then we're gonna throw it back on the stovetop on low, where we're just gonna let it simmer down till that butter starts forming like a crust. Once the butter for our mushrooms have melted, throw in your mushrooms. I'm using 2 packs. You can use 1 if you like. We're gonna season it a little bit. Garlic powder, onion powder, a little parsley, some salt, and some pepper. Make certain the mushrooms are coated. We may have to add a little bit more butter. That'll be fine. Yeah, we're definitely adding more butter. We're gonna go throw this back on the stovetop and let these mushrooms get nice and tender and cooked. Once your rice starts boiling, throw a lid on it, turn it down on low, and let it simmer for about 15 minutes or until all the liquid is absorbed. Once your mushrooms have kind of cooked down and they have this nice juice in the bottom, we're gonna sprinkle about a 1/4 cup of flour across it and then mix it in. You could use cornstarch if you wanted to as well. Coat our mushrooms with it. I'm gonna throw it back on the stovetop and let it continue thickening just a little. Once the mushrooms is back on the stovetop, then I'm gonna slowly add in some beef broth to it. Then you're gonna let it cook until it thickens up. Now with our carrots, as our butter is cooking down, we're just gonna occasionally toss our carrots in that butter and make certain they're staying nice and coated. Once all the broth is cooked out of your rice, you're gonna turn it off and leave the lid on. Do not lift it up and just let it sit there while the rest of your stuff cooks. Make certain you stir in your gravy occasionally so it ain't sticking to the bottom. Once your cast iron pan gets nice and hot, keyword hot, we're gonna throw in our loin, where you're gonna let it get a nice sear on both sides. I cook my loin about the same way I would a filet mignon. Now the last thing I wanna do is overcook this loin, so we're gonna go ahead and take it out and let it rest on the plate. We want our carrots to look like this. They got like this nice browned look to them. Now for your rice, take it and just kind of fluff it up a little. I'm gonna throw us a little rice on my plate. I don't like white rice, but I do love some wild rice. Some carrots. Let's push a little bit of that mushroom gravy across our rice here. Let's cut up some loin. We're just gonna put it across our rice and gravy. Let's try some of this by itself. Perfection. This is probably one of my most favorite meals.